You text a friend asking if they want to grab lunch this weekend. Before hitting send, your thumb hovers over the screen. You reread the message 3 times. It feels a little too direct, maybe even slightly pushy. So you add, "No worries if you're busy though," right at the end. Just in case. Just in case of what exactly? Nobody asked you to justify your existence today, yet here you are, editing a completely normal question like a crime confession. Most people would call this being considerate or easygoing. Underneath that polite surface, a much heavier belief is running the show. It's the quiet conviction that your presence inherently costs people something.
In clinical psychology, this specific mindset has an actual name. Dr. Thomas Joyner called it perceived burdensomeness. The word perceived is doing heavy lifting here. This isn't an objective measurement of how much space you take up. It's a rigid belief treated like an audited fact. When someone tells you you're not a burden, it rarely lands. Your brain quietly filters out the reassurance before it can count.
Psychologists call this confirmation bias mixed with identity preservation. If you've built your identity around being invisible, safety means remaining unseen. Believing you are an inconvenience becomes a protective shield. It prepares you for rejection before rejection even has a chance to happen. That filter wasn't born out of nowhere. It was usually built somewhere early and surprisingly mundane. Think back to a house where love was present, but attention was scarce. Maybe working parents were stretched thin, or a sibling had louder needs. In homes like that, kids become master weather forecasters. You learn to scan the room before opening your mouth. Is mom stressed? Is now a bad time to ask for help? When the answer is no often enough, you don't stop having needs. You just shrink them down until they stop registering as requests. You learn that being loved means being as light as possible. This childhood strategy follows you straight into adulthood. Psychologist Heinz Kohut called this developing a false self. You become the reliable friend, the low-maintenance partner, the one who never complains. On paper, it looks like emotional maturity. In reality, it's a sophisticated defense mechanism known as hyper-independence. You pre-cancel plans, so nobody has to reject you first. You apologize to waiters for asking for water. You reject genuine help because accepting it feels like taking out an emotional loan you can't repay. Your brain conflates needing help with causing harm. It operates on a flawed equation. Dependence equals danger, while self-reliance equals survival. Romantic relationships bring this entire dynamic to a boil. When someone gets close, the internal calculator runs constantly. Getting sick becomes a quiet crisis of conscience, not because of the fever, but because someone has to bring you soup. When your partner offers comfort during a hard week, it feels like handing them an invoice. You spend the evening waiting for the tax to come due. The cruelest part shows up when things are actually going well. Instead of relaxing into the peace, part of you stays on guard. You wait for the other shoe to drop, convinced that ease is never free. Here is the frustrating reality about this pattern. Telling yourself, "I am not a burden," rarely works. Logical arguments rarely dismantle beliefs that weren't built by logic. This conviction was formed through felt emotional experiences in your body. To rewire it, you need what psychologists call a corrective emotional experience. Neuroscience shows that the nervous system updates through real-time proof, not intellectual pep talks. It happens in tiny, boring micro-moments. Allowing a friend to help you carry one heavy box, saying, "Actually, yeah, I could use a hand," and staying in the room. When the predicted rejection fails to arrive, your brain slowly updates its safety file. There is a quiet kind of grief hidden inside all of this. It's the realization of how much energy you spent managing imagined irritation. Years spent pre-apologizing for taking up basic human space. Energy that could have been used to simply exist in the room. If you spent years being the low-maintenance one, hear this clearly. You are not a burden. You just learned way too early how much room you were allowed to take. The room got bigger a long time ago. Nobody just thought to tell you until now.
You can watch the rest of this ongoing series right now over on our channel. Click the next video on your screen to keep exploring.